Okay, so here we are. We are going to be creating a treatment plan for this client, Joe test patient. Of course, for confidentiality reasons, this is not a real client. This treatment plan should be created following a CASI or a locus and following a complete mental health assessment. Before you see a client for a typical therapy session, a documented treatment plan with goals needs to be inputted into Carepaths, and so that's why we're here today. So what you're going to do is once you're in your client's file, you are going to click Create a New Document, and then you are going to select this very bottom one, Treatment Plan SYS, and create that new document. So this pulls up asking for a patient statement of the problem and treatment progress. So now remember, we're talking about a client here who is a new client. You can go ahead and just take this statement of the problem straight out of the assessment, which I just have in a notepad here. Okay, and you're going to put that, just pasting it right in there from your initial assessment from that section on presenting problems. So it's going to, if you're following my assessment template, you are going to have it start off with a statement of what symptoms or problems that they are having, and then going through and describing in detail the pieces of each part of that problem list. Next thing, if you are doing a review of the treatment, this is our initial treatment plan, so we're going to write not applicable, initial treatment plan. However, we do want to say what our treatment is going to be, and that is going to come from, I just again copy and pasted this from my assessment. The very bottom of the assessment, you are making recommendations for treatment in the summary at the end. So I just took my recommendations from the end of the assessment. Based on the assessment, the recommendations are, so we're at least reviewing what treatment we're going to be giving to this client. So we're going to be giving them some individual therapy, family therapy, and hopefully some BST. So based on this client, we're going to say that they were involved in developing this plan. So again, it should be client-centered, so you want them to be involved in what the goals are going to be. You want them to agree with what the treatment plan is going to be addressing, and when it's completed, you want to print it and give them a printed copy. Under billing, you can do anywhere from up to 6 months for the treatment plan. Typically, a good number for a client who is a little bit higher intensity of needs is going to be more like 90 days. So I'm going to make this client have a 90-day treatment plan, and then go to my treatment plan tab. So this is the cool piece that Carepaths has created. You're going to click Add a Pathway, and we're going to look at all these different symptoms and diagnoses that could possibly be presenting with any client. Of course, each one is supposed to be individualized to a particular client, so you want to choose things that are exactly addressing what was going on with this client. So let's say that this client has some PTSD and trauma from the most recent child abuse that occurred. So we're going to say what symptoms they could have, and let's say that this client now, because of that, is easily startled and jumpy. Let's say that they are also having increased irritability. You can pick as many of these symptoms as you want. For goals, it gives us one option here to reduce these PTSD symptoms, but if you want to have a different goal, you can click Other and add any additional descriptions below. So let's say save for that, and our objective, what do we want to do? Maybe we want to decrease the impact of that trauma on the client. our treatment model is going to be, let's say, CBT, and our level of care is going to be individual therapy. So now when we expand our pathway, we can see anything that we just created. Our treatment plans must also, however, have a measurable component. So what you can do is go into objective and add an additional descriptor that we want to decrease these memories of the trauma by, let's say we want to reduce flashbacks 50%. Okay. And save. So when we expand our pathway, our new detail is also there. We want to also, for every treatment plan, besides for measurable things, we need to add interventions. So let's say that we are going to do in this, we're going to identify the triggers and develop a plan to counteract or avoid those triggers. And then we save. So now when we expand this pathway, we know the pathway is done when it has symptoms, goals, objectives, something measurable, and an intervention. Okay? We can add another pathway. Let's say that this client is having some antisocial behaviors. Okay? So our symptoms that we're going to add here is specifically related to things that this client has been doing at home and in the community and at school. So let's say that he bullies, threatens, and intimidates others, and let's say that he initiates physical fights. So the goal here would be to eliminate illegal activities and violation of the rights of others. I don't really want to say that. I want to say my goal would be to eliminate, let's say, escalation of fighting or physically aggressive behavior at school and in community. Okay, and then save. So our objective here, maybe we want to have him evaluated for medication. Okay. In our treatment model, we're going to do a little bit of family therapy with this to involve the parents, but we're also going to do some behavior therapy as well. In our level of care, we're going to do some individual and family therapy to address this. So again, when we expand this pathway, you're showing that we are, whatever we typed is coming in here. Okay. And we need to add something measurable to this. And so we can, and we also want to add an intervention. So we don't have an intervention added for this one, so we would have to describe this. So our intervention is going to be to make referral to maybe a psychiatrist, right? Okay, and what measurable thing can we put in here? So we said we want to eliminate, so maybe we can add just 100% of the time. Okay. Okay. So then our diagnosis tab here, we will have any diagnoses that have already been created in the assessment will be pulled through to here. If you decide that you need to add something else afterwards, you can go ahead and, of course, as you know, add any of those problems here. And that will go through all your notes, any future treatment plans, or assessments, or anything else that you create. When you are completed with this treatment plan, you are going to come to the bottom and you are going to click your password and click sign and pend. Very important. Clicking sign and pend, it will for you come up looking exactly the same. On my end, I will be able to see it and sign it to complete it. So at the bottom right now, it's showing one signature. Of course, it's me, so it shows my signature. But when you sign it, it will show your signature on the date you signed it, and then it will show my signature when I sign and complete it. So that's how we make a treatment plan. Email me, text me, or call me with any questions.